La idea básica es que estamos en un entorno diferente al histórico y que hay factores de fondo que están condicionando la acción de las empresas, como son la globalización, la concentración empresarial, el desarrollo tecnológico, etc. Y que para hacer frente a ese nuevo panorama, afrontar con éxito el futuro, necesitamos romper con historias individuales como son las que han gobernado en nuestro reciente pasado para aprender a cooperar. Las empresas necesitan crear alianzas estratégicas de gran calado que les permitan afrontar con éxito un futuro más complejo pero también cargado de promesas y de oportunidades.
Yes, I'm delighted to be here in the Basque country and at the Basque Culinary Institute to give this talk on responsible innovation. And I've been asked what responsible innovation means, and it's an evolving concept. I probably need to make that clear first, but I think responsible innovation is, first of all, thinking about how we can make innovation more anticipatory of its wider consequences and impacts, how we can make it more reflexive, thinking about the dilemmas and questions that it might pose and some of the uncertainties that are associated with it, thinking how we can make innovation more deliberative and inclusively so, so thinking how we can ask questions beyond our own experiences within a laboratory or so on into the wider public about how they think about the innovation and what it might do for them, and then how we can take all of that and say how might innovation respond, how might we make innovation respond to those kinds of pieces of information and perspectives. And that's important because innovation is very unpredictable and very uncertain, so we often don't know what kinds of impacts innovation is going to have, so we have to continuously think and reflect and anticipate and adjust as we go along. And I think what's possibly one of the most important aspects of responsible innovation is traditionally we've tended to govern or regulate the products of innovation, perhaps as they have reached the market. Responsible innovation is not just about products in the widest sense, the sort of impacts that innovations might have, but it also asks those kinds of questions around the purposes of innovation itself. Why are you doing it? And the starting point for responsible innovation that we're thinking is not necessarily what are the risks and how can we regulate those, important though those are, and they're an important part of being responsible. But the departure point is what kind of future do we want innovation in technology to bring into the world, and what kind of values are those anchored in? Well, what struck me about being here in the Basque country is its strong sense of regional and cultural identity. So if we were going to develop a program of responsible innovation in this region, the starting point for that would be, well, what are the cultural and values of this region? What are the targets for innovation that we would try to steer innovation towards? And what values are they that are here? A lot of people are thinking about what we call the right impacts of science and technology. Maybe those are around sustainable development, maybe they're around growth and economic jobs. And those will always pose lots of tensions and dilemmas. Those are values, but what are the values of the region? And if we were going to respond to those values, how would we go out into the area around this wonderful institute here and say, what does this mean to you, the population in the region, and how can we open up new areas of public value that respond to those values of the Basque region, for example. And that would be the starting point, perhaps, for responsible innovation, is to be more responsive to those kinds of values. But of course, innovation is notoriously unpredictable. So we might start by saying, let's anchor our innovations in those local, regional or national values, but we have to be continually aware that those things might change as they wind their way into the future, and so we need to be continuously responsive and continuously thinking about the wider social context of our work. So thinking about how we might construct programs of research around the concept of responsible innovation, for example, and how we might take those projects at a European level forward. There is some thinking about that now at the European Commission, who are actively looking at that. But my thoughts are that this is the time for us to bring people from different perspectives, scientists, social scientists, natural scientists, philosophers, stakeholders and the publics outside together and ask, what kind of innovation do we want now? And we're emerging from a deep financial crisis. We have a sustainability crisis which is going to be with us for many, many decades to come. As we start to look to innovation to come out of that crisis, as we look to innovation to try to address some of these broader societal issues, this is the time to ask, what is innovation for? And how can we ensure that we innovate responsibly? And how can we ensure that we assemble very diverse groups of people to understand the types of innovations that they want? How can we make it work for us in a way that's socially responsible going forward? So I think that there's an opportunity here. I think that this is the opportunity. Do we want innovation for more of the same, as we've had before, or do we want new types of innovation, perhaps new forms of social innovation, new forms of innovation that create value in new different ways that may help us to become a more sustainable, resilient and ultimately happier society?